tax on telecommunication services in Nigeria. He has also approved the suspension strategy. Dele Alake disclosed this during the press conference with the State House correspondent on Thursday. Our correspondent, Prince Adegoke, has the details.
Alake told journalists that the suspension of 5% excise tax on telecommunication services in Nigeria were part of 4 executive orders signed by the president. He said the decision was taken to reduce the suffering of Nigerians, especially in the area of multiple taxation, as well as creating a more friendly environment for both local and foreign businesses.
Now, upon taking over the reins of government, the president promised to run a government that will not make life difficult for Nigerians or asphyxiate or stifle corporate entities in spite of the challenges the federal government, in spite of these challenges, this federal government is irrevocably committed to this pledge. And you all recall that prior to the advent of this government, certain tax changes were introduced in the dying days of the last administration.
He stated that the president signed the Finance Act Order 2023, which now defers the commencement date of the changes contained in the Act from May 23, 2023 to September 1, 2023. Tinubu also ordered the suspension of the newly introduced green tax by way of levy on certain vehicles.
President Bola Tinubu, in fidelity to the pledge to put Nigerians at the center of government policies, has signed the following executive orders. Executive Order 1, the Finance Act, Effective Date Variation Order 2023, has now deferred the commencement date of the changes contained in the Act from May 28, 2023 to September 1, 2023. This is to ensure adherence to the 90 days minimum advance notice for tax changes as contained in the 2017 National Tax Policy. Executive Order 2, the Customs Excise Tariff Variation Amendment Order 2023. This has also shifted the commencement date of the tax changes from March 27, 2023 to August 1, 2023, and also in line with the National Tax Policy. Order 3.
The president's spokesman explained that Tinubu issued orders to ameliorate the negative impacts of the tax adjustments on businesses and chokehold on households across affected sectors. Other presidential advisors at the briefing said the president had assured Nigerians that there will not be further tax raise without robust and wide consultations undertaken in the context of a coherent fiscal policy framework.
Administration is to harmonize our taxes, the way we collect it. Mr. President, you actually want to simplify and make it friendly to business, the way we operate taxes in Nigeria. And as we know that when you talk about the revenue management, it's not only in tax collection. The starting point is our economic policy, because our aim is not to tax poverty. Our aim is not to tax production. Our aim is to increase our productive activity, capacity to produce, then we can tax our consumption.
The President and this administration is very sensitive to the plight of the Nigerians, and like he's already promised, we will ensure that the suffering is reduced and also ensure that businesses operate in a more friendly environment where we manage taxes in a way that it is also very business friendly. In addition to, of course, we are here looking for increased revenue, but it should not be at the expense of the average Nigerian.
Any cost that has been passed over to the consumers will also be suspended, and this will be enforced through the consumer protection agencies of the government. We do know that ultimately, as all my colleagues have said, the ultimate gain is to alleviate the plight of Nigerians, and we will ensure that this is done through the appropriate agencies of government.
In a bid to address concerns raised by manufacturers and other stakeholders regarding recent tax changes by the Muhammadu Buhari administration, the president had issued on locally manufactured products.
Gombe State Governor Muhammadu Nuwa Yahaya has told the acting United States Ambassador to Nigeria, David Green, that his state environment for sustenance to the U.S. envoy at the Governor's Lodge in Abuja and Gombe's innovative drive for the alternative sources of the finance and investment for the new and existing projects with environmental benefits, while extensively discussing a joint effort to raise the first green bond at the subnational level, which aims to expertise and resources to facilitate the society. State is desirous of more partnership of citizens. Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose has met with President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Addressing State House correspondents after the meeting with the President, Fayose said the support Tinubu administration started, however, that he will not hesitate to criticize the government if it fails to fulfill its campaign promises to Nigerians. He therefore urged Nigerians to rely round the president, whom he said has good intentions for the country.
If Asiwaju turns back on his promise, all he said when he was campaigning, I will be the first to talk. I am not timid, and I don't shy away from facing challenges. But the man I have seen today, I don't eulogize and I don't praise to curry favor. I am no more a small boy. Let me tell you, the man I saw today, and for the actions we have seen, means well for Nigeria.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has listed legal jurisdiction across countries as one of the challenges in the fight against cyber crimes in the country. This was the position of speakers at the one-day training organized by EFCC in Ilori Zone for print and broadcast professionals in Kwara State. Judith Peters has the details. During the section, which was organized by Ilori Zone of the Commission in Kwara State, the acting chairman of EFCC, Abdul Karim Chukwu, told the media practitioners that the outcomes of efforts over the years aimed at tackling corrupt practices have been impressive. He further called for more collaboration with journalists in setting agenda and reporting on corrupt practices.
The task of keeping a tab on our works are both engaging and odious. Engaging because the Commission has been profoundly impactful in combating the menace of corrupt practices in our midst, going by its impressive record of conviction, asset forfeitures, and other tangible proofs of accomplishments over the year.
In one of the paper presentations titled New Trends in Cybercrime, the presenter, Alex Ocheme, lamented the challenges being faced by the agency in getting cooperation and support from other countries in fighting the menace. This, according to him, is due to dynamics associated respective legal system of each jurisdiction.
As I speak, in the West African region, not all the countries have passed Cybercrime Act in their own jurisdiction. So in the event that monies from cybercrime move to a jurisdiction they don't have that law, it's not a crime in their place. Somebody just dashed the money. So it's so for you can't compel them to repatriate the money or even find the offender and prosecute him.
Head of Media of the EFCC, Wilson Wojare, sounded a note of warning on transactions of businesses with cash above certain limits, which he said could earn perpetrators the road of the law.
If you want to buy a car of 6 million, for instance, you need to pay through the bank, to your bank account, so that transaction can be traced. But when you carry cash, you go and give a car dealer, there is no trace of that kind of transaction. If you are laundering money, the commission will not be able to trace those transactions.
The Ilori Zone of the Anti-Graft Agency lamented that cybercrime is rampant among undergraduates in Kwara State and called for synergy, especially with parents and guardians. Judith Peters reporting for Global TV. Chairman of the National Population Commission, NPC, Nasir Isa Kwara says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will announce new dates for Nigerians' conduct of the National Population and Housing Census. Our correspondent, Prince Adegoke, reports that the NPC chairman, after meeting with the president, informed State House correspondents that further delay in the conduct of the census will incur additional expenses.
The census, earlier scheduled for May 3 to 7, 2023, by the then administration of ex-president Muhammadu Buhari, was postponed to a date to be determined by the Tinubu administration. Kwara said he briefed the president on the commission's preparations for the census.
We briefed him fully on the level of our preparedness, the outcomes that we envisage. And I'd like to say that Mr. President has graciously approved to support the Commission in the conduct of the census. And our preparatory activities, though, were not stopped at all, but he has given us the courage, the impetus to upscale our preparation.
Chairman of the National Population Commission, however, explained that the preparations for the exercise, which has already gulped 100 billion naira, is a huge investment for the country, adding that subsequent exercises would be less expensive.
Special Advisor to the President on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Dele Alake, says the President's ministerial list is not ready. Alake made this known during a briefing with journalists at the State House in Abuja. Tinubu, having been sworn into as president on May 29, 2023, is expected to submit his ministerial list to the Senate before 29 July. Alake urged Nigerians to disregard the rumors surrounding the awaited ministerial list. The Prince Trust International, PTI, a non-profit organization established by King Charles III, has been launched in Nigeria to address the challenge of youth unemployment on a global scale. The launch, which took place at a reception in Lagos on Wednesday, was attended by high-profile functionaries, including the Deputy British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Ben Llewellyn-Jones. Speaking at the launch, Llewellyn-Jones said the PTI's launch in Nigeria would bridge the existing skills gap, given more young people would have access to quality training that would make them more employable. The Chief Executive Officer of Prince Trust International, Will Stroll, said the initiative was built to commence in the aftermath of King Charles' visit to Nigeria in 2018, but was delayed due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. According to him, in the last 18 months, the trust has been helping young people gain the skills they need for the world work. Chairman / Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, retired as decorated 3 deputy commandants, General of Narcotics, and 4 assistant commandants general of narcotics, who topped the list of 3,248 newly promoted and regularized officers and men of the agency. Speaking at the event, Marwa says the exercise is an addiction that the agency has now entrenched the culture of excellence. Priska Obasi has the details.
At a colorful ceremony where 12 state commands and 148 other personnel were given awards and commendation for their outstanding performances in the first half of the year. Speaking at the event, Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, retired, applauds the newly promoted officers for the innovative approach to drug reduction.
The innovative approach we have taken to drug demand reduction is commendable. The intricate and effective intelligence we deploy to track down drug barons and dismantle cartels is a testimony to the capability of the new NDLEA that we have collectively forged. Our success rate at prosecution with over 5,000 convictions in just over 2 years. It's a definitive statement that we are doing our job.
He described the promotion of the newly promoted senior officers as a result of hard work, adding that the agency is partnering with regional opposites and international partners so as to extend the agency's structure as well as enhance job performance.
We have evolved a better, more efficient and sustainable system that guarantees viable work conditions, good staff welfare, and enhanced job performance.
The beneficiaries expressed appreciation to Marwa for providing inspiring leadership for the agency and motivating the personnel to break barriers and excel in their areas of responsibility.
Apart from the fact that we are reaching the peak of our career today, there has been no morale in the agency because people have been on the same level, the same rank for several years without promotion and without interdiction. But today, God has used a father, a man of vision, a man of passion, to wipe away tears from.
It's a motivation for more work, and I want to thank the management and our amiable chairman, chief executive officer, for giving us this opportunity to showcase us through our hard work and rewarding us for that.
The high point of the event was the decoration of the newly promoted officers with their new ranks. Priscilla Obasi reporting for Global Television.
You're watching the Midday News on Global Television, coming to you on StarTimes channel 276 from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Kindly follow us across social media platforms at Global TV NG. When the Express News returns, Senate condemns horrid consensus of Abuja, Kano Airport's vows probe. We'll be back with these and more stories. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. The Central Bank of Nigeria has asked Deposit Bank, Money Bank and other financial institutions in the country to increase monitoring of transactions with businesses and persons in and from Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire and Vietnam. This was according to a circular reference FPR AML PUB BOF 001029, which was issued on Thursday by the Director of Financial Policy and Regulation, Mr. Chibuzo Efobi. According to CBN, Nigerians bank and other financial institutions need to watch transactions with those countries because they had been recently placed on a grey list by the Financial Action Task Force. The Financial Action Task Force is an international body whose purpose is to develop and promote measures to combat money laundering, terrorism, and proliferation financing. Any country under increased monitoring is actively working with the FATF to address strategic deficiency in its regime to counter money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation financing. The Apis Bank also said that the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, Iran, and Myanmar remain on the list of high-risk jurisdictions, which banks should closely monitor. The Nigeria Senate says it will probe the consensus of the Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano, and the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, saying the probe has become necessary owing the absence of transparently and due process in concessioning the facilities. The Senate resolution followed a motion by Senator Sumaila Kawu, who said from the combined examination of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAAN, Act, and the ICRC Procedures Manual, it is evident that the concessioning was based on a faulty foundation. He argued that the Federal Ministry of Aviation does not own or run any airports in Nigeria, but by dictate of the governing act of FAAN ownership and management of the all federal government airports are fully vested Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. The organized... Oh. And that's it on the News Express on Global TV. We are on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platforms at Global TV NG. Thank you so very much for watching. I am Judith Peters. Have a great evening.